In today's story, we dive into the unsolved mystery of Martha Morrison. In 1974, the small, tight-knit community of Vancouver, Washington, was forever shaken by the murder of a young woman named Martha Morrison. Although her name was not well known outside her town, her case became a local mystery, baffling investigators and the community for over 40 years. Her death would remain unsolved for decades, and the search for justice was plagued by eerie coincidences, misidentifications, and unexpected twists that still haunt the community today. Martha Morrison was 17 when she left home in Portland, Oregon, in September 1974, hoping to start a new chapter in her life across the river in Vancouver. Known as a kind, free-spirited teenager with a big heart, she dreamed of helping others and planned to eventually work in social services. But when Martha missed multiple family gatherings and failed to contact her friends, her family grew alarmed. They reported her missing, but her absence seemed to slip through the cracks of a busy police department that was handling multiple missing person cases at the time. 2 months after Martha's disappearance, skeletal remains of a young woman were found in Dole Valley, a heavily wooded area about 20 miles northeast of Vancouver. The local sheriff's office found another unidentified set of remains nearby, both suspected to be victims of foul play. However, limited forensic technology made identification challenging, and after a preliminary examination, authorities filed the bodies as unidentified. Martha's family continued to push for answers, but as the years went by, the investigation into her disappearance slowed to a crawl. By the 1980s, the Morrison family had all but given up hope that she would be found, let alone identified. It wasn't until 2009, 35 years later, that Martha's case took a surprising turn. Detectives reopened her case as part of a cold case initiative aimed at clearing unsolved disappearances. Using advances in DNA technology, forensic analysts managed to extract DNA from the skeletal remains found in Dole Valley. In 2015, Martha Morrison was finally identified, a bittersweet discovery that brought her family some closure, but raised new haunting questions. Who had killed her? And why? As detectives dug further into Martha's case, they noticed chilling connections to Warren Leslie Forrest, a convicted killer serving time for the 1974 murder of another young woman. Forrest had been a suspect in several unsolved murders from the 1970s, including cases of missing women around Vancouver and Portland. Forrest, who worked as a maintenance man for a local county agency, had used his job to gain access to remote locations in the area. Detectives believed he may have used his position to find and target vulnerable young women, but the evidence against him was largely circumstantial, making it difficult to build a case. His existing conviction and imprisonment, however, kept him off the streets, providing the community with some sense of safety. As investigators examined Forrest's other potential victims, a disturbing pattern emerged. Many of the missing women were, like Martha, young, independent, and living transient lifestyles. Forrest would have had the means and opportunity to take them to isolated areas such as Dole Valley, and his earlier conviction involved eerily similar circumstances. Although no concrete evidence tied him directly to Martha's murder, authorities felt they had found their prime suspect. But justice for Martha would remain elusive. Despite their suspicion, authorities couldn't find enough physical evidence to charge Forrest with Martha's murder. With most witnesses gone and the physical evidence degraded over decades, the case hit a dead end once again. Though Martha Morrison's murder remains technically unsolved, her case has shed light on the importance of using advanced forensic methods to re-examine cold cases. Her family found a semblance of closure through her identification and continues to advocate for the use of DNA technology in unsolved cases, hoping that similar cases might still be solved. Today, Martha's name remains a reminder of the small-town mysteries that lurk in the background of American life. She is one of many whose lives were tragically cut short, whose stories remain half-told, and whose killers may never face justice. The story of Martha Morrison's murder, though not widely known, shows that some mysteries persist for decades, deeply affecting the families and communities involved. Cases like hers are a somber reminder of the countless unsolved crimes still waiting to be brought to light.